to Arsenal now. And talking of busy summers, eighth signing, Darmish, possibly on the way?
Yeah, Eberechi Eze was their seventh summer signing. You know, it's around £250 million spend that they've made so far, but they don't look like they're stopping because they're exploring a deal for the Bayer Leverkusen defender Piero Hincapié, Ecuador international. Now, it should be said here, Arsenal's focus does remain on departures, but they are working to be in a position to act on someone like Hincapié if they were to make those sales. Now, he's got 4 years left on his contract. Leverkusen don't want him to go. Sky Germany, though, are reporting that the player does want to make a move in this summer's transfer window. He's got a £52 million release clause in his contract. I think Arsenal would probably want to negotiate on that. Tied in with all of this, I mentioned departures. Jakub Kiwior, who's a central defender on that left side of central defence for Arsenal, who can play left back as well, rather like Hincapié. He's interesting. Porto and Arsenal are still in talks over that signing. We think that the total deal is worth around £23 million, including a loan fee. Added to that, Alexander Zinchenko, who can play on that left side of the defence as well. He's been interesting a number of clubs. Fenerbahce, they spoke to Alexander Zinchenko and his representatives in this transfer window, but they couldn't come to an agreement over the finances of that deal. And they then switched their attentions to a holding midfielder in Edson Alvarez from West Ham United, who they ended up signing. Other departures that Arsenal will be looking at, Albert Sambi Lokonga, they'll listen to suitable offers for. Fabio Vieira as well. Stuttgart were really pushing. We think Porto, again, might be looking at Fabio Vieira. They might even be looking at Alexander Zinchenko. It looks like everyone that may want to leave Arsenal, Porto seem to be interested in them. Let's see if they can sign one or even two of those players. But it's clear that they do want to go back into the market, but it might depend on sales.
Yeah. What about the...
Arsenal have intensified their pursuit of Bayer Leverkusen defender Piero Hincapié, as the club seeks to reinforce its backline ahead of the new Premier League season. Sources close to the negotiations indicate that Hincapié, who has consistently impressed in the Bundesliga with his composure, tactical awareness, and ball-playing ability, has expressed a strong desire to make the leap to English football. The Ecuadorian international, admired for his versatility and defensive maturity at just 23 years of age, is reportedly drawn to Arsenal's project under Mikel Arteta, whose emphasis on progressive football and youth development aligns with the player's ambitions. While Bayer Leverkusen remain reluctant to part with one of their standout performers, particularly following their recent domestic successes, Arsenal's interest has grown firmer in light of Hincapié's openness to the move and his stated preference for a transfer to North London. With negotiations expected to accelerate in the coming days, Arsenal are believed to be preparing an offer that reflects both the player's potential and his importance to Arteta's long-term plans. Should the deal materialize, Hincapié's arrival would not only bolster the Gunners' defensive options but also signal their continued intent to compete at the highest level domestically and in Europe.